And that's it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live watch party. We are queuing up to watch Composer's Voice, featuring 15 Minutes of Fame with Andrew White, who's over there. Wait, am I pointing in the right direction? I am. Hi, Andy. How's it going? Oh, wait. And here with us today, we have Sarah Cleveley, David Wolfson, David Bone, and Darth Presley. These are four of the composers who have written for Andy for this 15 Minutes of Fame. And Andy, for this call, remind me, this was just anything goes call.
Right. We opened it up. We said it could be works with traditional instruments. They had to provide tracks, but they could be works with traditional instruments on the tracks, and they could be a cappella works, or they could be accompanied by piano.
Fabulous. Hi, Kirsten.
Hi, Rob. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good. Happy New Year. A little bit late.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. You know, it's still January, right? So it's
a couple more hours.
it's completely okay to still wish people New Year's.
We got through January. That's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Almost.
It's been a rough start, frankly. I don't know about you guys. We got they just dumped snow on us. How are you doing out there, David?
That's David Bone. You're asking that, right?
It is. I know how you're doing, Wolfson. We're suffering. I just had to dig my car out. Took me an hour and a half.
Oof.
Yeah. That's all right. It doesn't happen as often as it does in Minneapolis, right, David Bone? We can't hear you. Oh no. That's all right. Who wants to talk about the weather anyway? So like I said, we this is actually a performance that was instigated. I feel like it started with, well, no, I guess it started with collaboration and accompaniment like years back now, and it's just sort of been kind of evolving and so forth. We did one of these sort of watch parties. It was probably just it was a watch party with Gene Pritzker. They got you out here to start collaborating with Composers Concordance, which is how this concert at the Ellington Room happened. And let's see what time we got here. We got 10 minutes yet. And so anybody who's watching, if you want to ask any of the composers any questions or Andy a question, please feel free to type in the chat. It'd be great to hear from you. And I think nobody's here shy to chat. Whoop. I'm so glad we've got some young people in the audience. They're screaming 6-7. That was my son's best call these days. Like screaming that at the
That's still a thing, even though we old people know about it now.
It's still. I think that's because they love seeing us just with a big question mark on it. Like, what? Okay. I just laugh. I mean, anyway. I love one of his teachers came on and said, "Now all you parents, we used to do things too," and he's right. We did if not sillier stuff. back in the day. I tell you though, it makes me wish that I wrote a piece for you, Andy, that was just 6'7".
It's not too late.
Not too late this rate. Welcome back, David. Oh my gosh. I scared all the kids away. We were like up to 30 watchers, and then poof. Nobody. Yeah, see, nobody wants to hear old people talk about 6'7". Oh wait, they're back. I don't know. That's great. Well, welcome everybody. So let me tell everybody what's 15 Minutes of Fame is. So 15 Minutes of Fame is 15 one-minute works that are written about by different composers. We put out a call for scores, and we get about a bunch of submissions, and then we give them over to the musician. In this case, it's Andrew White over there. And he goes through all the scores, and he picks 15 pieces, and then we perform them. So this is composer's voice. He came into the studio and we recorded all these 1-minute works, and and this is our watch party of where we bring on the artist and some composers to talk about their works and just like hang out. And I think everybody saw their piece performed, right? Or no? Yep. This is not the first time for anybody. So yeah, but it's the first time that they see this performance. Well, not you, Andy. You were there. Oh wait, and Kirsten was there too. There.
Yeah, you just forgot that person in the corner. Come on, Rob.
That's all right. I'm totally.
August seems like such a long time ago, doesn't it?
It does kind of feel like a long time ago. Yeah, I feel really bad. I'm totally disrespecting our UK people. Kirsten and Sarah are both from UK. There we got. There we go. Cool. So, does any of the composers want to offer any insights or comments or ask Andy a question?
Yeah, could I just ask what your selection process is when you get all the pieces? What stands out for you in a piece or not?
Well, the first thing is, of course, if it's doable. I mean, some pieces will come in and they'll be out of range, or or other things that just make it impossible to do. So there's practicality is the first issue. If I'm interested in the text, is an issue. There's some. I've sort of given up on doing the really wild stuff. That comes in, especially things that use text as a sound thing rather than actually trying to express the text. Like just playing with the sounds in the text. Less interested in that. If it creates a mood or a feeling, if it communicates something, that's what's important to me. I'm not really interested in cerebral pieces that leave people cold. I like. The whole purpose for me of singing is to communicate something. And so that's what I'm looking for. And then there's just looking at what works with everything else. Like for instance, do I have too many pieces that are all the same or similar? I want to there's always a balance in programming, I think, of a balance between continuity and variety. And so I'm trying to strike that balance. So, in fact, in the case of this particular call, there were some pieces that I didn't choose that I could just have easily have chosen, because I'll say, well, there's three pieces that are kind of doing the same thing, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That happened. This particular call had one piece that the composer couldn't get the royalties for, so that ended up being taken out. So there were I think this was about 60 pieces submitted. So getting that down to 15 was kind of a problem. There were a lot that I cut that I didn't want to cut. But what was amazing is once I decided on a certain number of pieces, then deciding on an order became really like a puzzle that just fell right into place. All the pieces just popped right into place, because I'm thinking also, as a singer who does not have perfect pitch, how do I get my pitch from one song to the next? And so I'm looking at key relationships and, pitch similarities, things that I could use to transition from one piece to the next. And the pieces just fell into place like that. Like, one thing just leads right to the next in a beautiful, and they're not all in the same key, but I mean, there's an easy hook from one piece to the next. And I was really happy with the way it came out. And then also this call had, some pieces that are accompanied with tracks, some pieces that are piano, and some pieces that are a cappella. And I was able to get enough of a mix so that, I didn't have numerous a cappella pieces in a row, or because that gets too much a cappella singing is really kind of boring for the audience. And so I was able to find, when you have, really interesting tracks going on, and then all of a sudden a piece is complete silence, in the background, that's very effective. But when you then just keep going with the silence, it stops being effective. So I felt like I was able to come up with this really nice flow and mix of pieces that were accompanied and unaccompanied.
Thank you. It's really interesting to hear how you kind of put it together and how you choose them.
I feel like your first 15 Minutes of Fame was very, what's the word? Theatrical.
Well, and that's that goes with my desire to have it relate to an audience, to communicate something, So I was an actor before I was a singer, and so I do have that interest, in that it have. So you might find that some pieces have a theatricality to them. Now that particular one had pieces that I accompanied myself with either stamping or clapping my hands, or stomping my feet, or small percussion instruments and things like that. And that has a theatrical element as well. Like, if I come out with a singing bowl, and I start to make the bowl sing before I sing, that has a theatrical element to it too.
And the party has begun. Here, let me bring up the show. There we go. is your third set of 15 Minutes of Fame. Been collaborating with you for a long time now.
Yeah, was the first one in 2015 or something like that? Yeah,
that'd be about right.
Yeah.
So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you do it?
Okay, well, I am a professor of voice at the University of Nebraska at Kearney, and before that, I was centered in Cleveland, and I got all my degrees from the Cleveland Institute of Music. And when I graduated from there, I devoted myself to the Cleveland music scene and did numerous recitals of songs of Cleveland composers, past and present. And so I was singing a lot of contemporary music, but also historical, composers from Cleveland that, a lot of people had long forgotten about. And then I got a position at the University of Nebraska at Kearney after I finished my doctorate. And ever since then, I've sort of expanded. I had a good friend here in New York who knew Rob Foisey. He had me do one of his song cycles in New York, and so these guys got a chance to hear me, and they invited me to do 15 Minutes of Fame, and the rest is history.
But I mean, the 15 Minutes of Fame program, because I haven't been with you on the journey as Andrew has. I'm sort of a late comer to the whole thing. It's really inspiring, actually, because in that 60 seconds, you have to encapsulate a mood, bring something powerful into being, but it's not as easy as it sounds, actually. You have to really condense a thought, but yet bring people with you on that journey. And it's so easy to compose longer than 3 to 5 minutes is probably a traditional sort of compositional length. But to get something into 60 seconds was a real challenge the first time I did it for you, And now it's actually, I think it's a great idea. It's fantastic. So hats off to you, and thank you for the opportunity as a composer to sort of be challenged in this way.
We can't eat monkey, lest taxis honking, more birds sing. Ganges River, pure water drinking. Let mother breathe, adopt a tree. Let mother breathe, adopt a tree. Let mother breathe, adopt a tree.
Hi, my name is Tom Lane. I am a composer based in Dublin, Ireland, and I'm the composer of Caritas for solo baritone. The piece is based on a text by Hildegard von Bingen, and it relates to the climate crisis.
Now when the people that were meant to be green, there is no more life of any kind. There is only shriveled barrenness. The winds are burdened by the utterly awful stink of evil. Selfish goings on. Thunderstorms menace. The air filters out the filthy uncleanliness of the peoples. The earth should not be injured. The earth must not be destroyed.
My name is Suhail Shirangi, composer, music director, and graduate assistant of San Francisco State University. And today I'm so excited and happy to share my piece, How Much, How Little, for baritone and electronic. And I dedicated it to Andre White. My composition is based on one of my favorite poets, Emily Dickinson.
In this short life that only lasts an hour. How little is within our power. There is nothing of which we are apt to be so lavish as of time, about which we ought to be more solicitous, since without it we can do nothing in this world. Time is what we want most, but what, alas, we use worst, and for which God will certainly most strictly reckon with us, when time shall be no more.
Hello, I'm Ross James Carey, composer of Once Awake. There's a setting of 6 selected poems by New Zealand poet Sherry Grant from her collection Being Catherine, written in 2023 to mark the 100th anniversary of the death of the early 20th century author, renowned for her innovations in the short story genre, Catherine Mansfield. So I was delighted to set Sherry's own poetry channeling Mansfield for this 15 minutes of fame called for scores. The poems in Being Catherine all reflect in some way upon the legacy and life of Catherine Mansfield, while intertwining more personal reflections, and are charmingly illustrated by the author's daughter Zoe.
How very bored I simply am. I hide myself like a clam. Once awake, I dream again, stroking a lion's golden mane. Like a fawn on the forest glade, far from worry, not afraid to cast my net far and wide, with a butterfly as my guide, with a butterfly as my guide.
I'm Brent Strawn. I wrote this little piece as a memorial to my youngest brother who died of cancer. First, I thought the competition was a ridiculous idea. What could I possibly do in 1 minute to make an idiot of a fool of myself? Then I thought, well, it's a tough concept for me. I don't want to face it or look at it. Maybe 1 minute is the best chance I have at getting a little bite of the idea.
By my window I have lain down to die. By my window, tears I must cry. Darling Kathleen, I cry for you, I cry for me, for our sons, please let me go. I will find you a boat that sails upon the sea sails far and far and far away. Who sails in her, sing songs of glee. Oh, watch and pray.
Citizens, this is Darth Presley coming to you. You know this here piece? Cat Pilbo Paws. Give me my thing, and I want you free. We go about in the night and are consumed by fire.
See me, imus notte et consumimur imus notte et consumimur ingerum imus notte et consumimur
Welcome, Kristen Johnson.
Thank you for having me, Rob. It's great to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for coming out, especially such a long way. So we got someone from Nebraska, and you're from?
Oxford in England. Originally from Virginia, but I've been in the UK for a number of years now.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, I've always heard music in my head. My earliest memories are writing a little song about butterflies and singing it to my parents. And, so music has always just been part of who I am. But my degrees were all in piano performance, and I have made a career as a solo pianist, recorded lots of composers, and learned lots of piano music. But I've always composed in the background. So when this opportunity came along to write more for the voice, I went back to a first love, actually. I hear melody, and it was really easy. I remember just going to the piano one morning, and I wrote it in 30 minutes. I went back and made sure it was all right, but it just came. And it's so wonderful to have you sing it so beautifully. So I appreciate that.
That piece is very organic. It feels organic to sing it. It must have been organic to write.
It was, yeah. I love haiku. It's based on Japanese haiku. I lived in Japan as a child for 3 years. My father was in the U.S. Marine, so we were stationed in Okinawa, and we were taught haiku and Japanese culture and brush painting and all kinds of different things Japanese. And haiku's always just been sort of part of who I am, really. So I've written a series of pieces on haiku, and this is one of the 5 that I've written. So it's really a real privilege to have you sing it.
Yeah. It was a privilege to sing it.
Yeah.
Just to teach the world, teach the world, teach the world. Cherry blossoms, cherry blossoms, cherry blossoms, cherry blossoms.
I'm David Wolfson, and I wrote The Aliens for Andy White's 15 Minutes of Fame. I am a science fiction buff from way back, and so tropes of alien invasion are part of my psyche. I had been thinking about a piece on this subject for quite a while, a longer piece, and then I realized that everything I had to say on the subject would fit in a minute. Not that profound. And also that Andy White was the perfect performer for this. He gets my sense of humor. He understands how to sell a lyric as well as a text and the marriage of the two. And so I'm very pleased with how this came out.
The aliens came to enslave us and carry off our women. Actually, our women thought the aliens were kind of hot. The aliens came to conquer the planet. They ran it better than we ever did. The aliens came to give us the secret of existence. Oh, said the aliens, we see you already have it. And the aliens went away.
My name is Kyle Vanderberg, and I'm the composer in residence here at North Dakota State University in Fargo. My work, Roaming in Thought, is something that I put together as I was working through some writer's block and some motivation troubles and just trying to find the time to compose. And that's one of the great things about 15 Minutes of Fame is that, the 1 minute time limit is a pretty hard constraint, but it's also really freeing. I knew that I wanted to write something, I wanted to set something by Walt Whitman, but Whitman's poetry can be lengthy at times, and it can also be pretty expansive in its subject matter. And so I felt really fortunate to find this poem that's only 4 lines long, and the subject matter is only everything that is good and everything that is evil. I mean, I guess it's short.
Roaming in thought over the universe, I saw the little that is good steadily hastening towards immortality. And the vast all that is called evil, I saw hastening to merge itself and become lost and dead. What is your feeling about the revolutionary spirit of your age, as expressed, for instance, in such movements as communism, surrealism, anarchism? The revolutionary spirit of our age, as expressed by communism, surrealism, anarchism, madness, is a hot firebrand thrust into the dark lantern of the world in 9 decades. A mad queen shall be born.
My name is Volker Ignaz Schmidt. I am a composer living in Germany. My piece Tasten 2, which I wrote for Andrew White, will be part of my new short opera named Spuren. Spuren is a short, communalistic, surrealistic opera about a murder.
Taste im Grau das Auge, der innere Weg auf der Spur, die Flut des Himmels kann zeugen von mir. Ich brauche Halt, Halt.
I'm Sarah Cleveley. I'm a composer and I write orchestral and choral music. I also enjoy music theory and I play the piano, the organ, I sing and play the trumpet and the ukulele. This is one of several pieces I've written for Vox Novus, which is a fantastic organisation giving opportunities to performers and composers to collaborate and a chance for composers to hear their works performed, which is often quite difficult to do. The piece that I wrote for Andrew, As the Rain, is based on a traditional Gaelic prayer, and the words I love, find them very moving and very comforting.
As the rain hides the stars, As the autumn mist hides the hills, as the clouds veil the blue of the sky, so the dark happenings of my lot hide the shining of your face from me. Yet, if I may hold your hand in the darkness, it is enough, since I know that though I may stumble in my going, you do not fall. As the rain hides the stars, as the autumn mist hides the hills.
My name is Blair Whittington. I'm a composer in Los Angeles, California. I'm a native. I've lived here my whole life. And a composer, and the piece on the program of mine is titled Return. I like ritornella form and Baroque concertos, and this is a ritornella with the singer acting as the soloist and the electronic accompaniment providing the refrains. It's also a vocalese which has a rich history.
Thank you, Andy. I mean, we really, as a composer myself, we need the musicians to make our music come alive and so forth, and you do a fantastic job. And there we go.
Well, that was fun.
Right?
Thank you so much, Andy. That was great. Yeah.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
It was really nice. Here and there, I performed all those songs, and I didn't do a damn thing. I just sat here on the couch.
I saw you moving your lips at one point, though, Andy.
Lip syncing, huh?
Yeah, it was great.
I saw that too.
Yeah, I didn't do too bad if I say so myself.
It was great the character you brought into each piece, Andy. They really came to life as sort of individual essences. It was a fantastic performance. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much. Sarah, now finally it occurred to me which composer you were. I heard your piece. I love that piece.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's really moving.
Thank you. As was your performance. It was beautiful. It's so when you're sat writing it and all you get is a computerized version coming back at you, it's very different than when you actually hear it.
Although you're a singer yourself, so you must have sung it.
Yeah, but because I wrote it for your tone of voice, it doesn't sound quite so nice with a female voice, really. So, but it was brilliant. Thank you ever so much.
Though actually, when I was singing it, I tapped into the feminine side of myself.
There you
go. Because it strikes me as coming from that side.
Okay. Yeah.
By the way, I don't know why he didn't write it in the comments, but Eric chimed in. He wanted to tell Dr. White they loved his performance. His vocal acting was really very sharp and spot on. That's from Eric Branch. It's what exactly he had in mind. So,
yeah, that's a really great piece.
Yeah, he was sorry he couldn't join us today, but you know, it's not as we found out, it's not always easy to join online. The internet, woo, gotta love it.
Although Saturdays, Saturday afternoon is a good time for most everybody. Although, is today Saturday afternoon in England?
Yeah, it's evening, 7:30 at night, but it's a lot better than midnight or 1 in the morning. So definitely keep the afternoon slot, please.
I agree.
And I guess in Nebraska you're 2 hours earlier, right?
1
Like
hour.
that? Your mountain
Just 1
time.
hour.
Oh, it's only 1 hour. Oh, okay, you're not.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And if any of our audience has a question or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. So how does everybody, so that was fun to have Andy and Kirsten to come into the studio. Was it the day after? It was the day after, right?
Yeah, it was right the day after.
Yeah.
My voice was just a little bit tired, but it seemed to be like it came off pretty well anyway.
I thought it came out great. Did everybody see the? Oh yeah, everybody did see it. So what do you guys think? Like, same, better, just different from the live performance? I mean, David, you got to see it like.
He was
Yeah,
in it.
I was in it. The one piece, the German composer's piece that I actually played the piano part, since it was just a piano part. It seemed silly to have your pianist sitting there while a recorded piano played. So but I had a front row seat, and of course Andy was staying with me when he came to do this, so I actually heard them multiple times. In rehearsal in my apartment, as did my neighbors. We all enjoyed it, and so it's good to hear it again.
Cool.
I mean, I think every performance is different, isn't it, Rob? And what Andy did that night in the Ellington room, just responding to the audience, because you could see the audience livening up or concentrating or reacting in different ways to different pieces. And Andy, being the brilliant performer he is, was actually feeding off that. And so that dynamic is really, really good on the night. But that's different than a recorded performance, which was, again, fantastic, but just it's a different kind of thing, isn't it? So for me, I was lucky to hear it twice. I really enjoyed both performances, Andy. And I guess if you were to sing it a third time, it would probably be different again. And that's what's wonderful about music, is once we compose it, we sort of let it go, and the performer makes it happen in the space and for the audience and for the acoustic. And it's sort of its own thing then, isn't it?
Well, yes, and I'm not the same person that I was yesterday. So, inevitably, a different twist comes out on a different day. But it's an odd thing to perform for a camera, because there are people out there, but you don't get that that electric feedback that you do when you're in front of a live audience. You can sense how you're coming off and how people are receiving you. You get that even if they're not saying anything, you can sense it. Not plotting or anything. They're just sitting there, but still you can sense how you're there. There's a rapport there. And with the camera, there just isn't, but they're there. So I don't know. It's a strange situation performing for a camera.
And if I may say so, Andy, forgive me, but you have also gotten better at this as the years have gone on. I remember our first recording over at the other M&N studio, which was fun. It was like this huge kind of vacuous space, but I think that recording was a little bit more daunting, maybe.
Yeah, it was. It was more difficult. The smaller studio seemed to work better I could hear the tracks better, and there was a better, I don't know, maybe that having all that space, it's not quite like being in a concert hall. I mean, concert halls are nice and big, and we enjoy that. But when you're recording, maybe it's not always an advantage to have such space.
I don't know. What do you think, Kirsten? You were there.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell Andy was comfortable. So if he liked the space, that's actually probably the most important thing, is to have a relaxed performer who's actually able to sort of do his best in the space. I didn't see the bigger hall, so I don't know how that felt, but I can imagine from what Andy said that it was just a little bit empty and maybe too big without a live audience being there. I've recorded in a lot of venues myself, and they do differ completely, and you just have to go with what you have on the day. But yeah, it was great, Andy. I thought you did a fantastic job. It was a small venue, though. I was tucked in the corner. I barely fit in. I was surprised you didn't chuck me out the door.
No, we don't mind squishing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of live performances, and I love, I like intimate, like, sort of settings. That's definitely, yeah, that's kind of my thing. I like chamber concerts. I really do. The big halls are great as well, but like you said, it's depending on the audience, that's what makes or breaks it.
Well, I performed the same group at the concert hall at the University of Western Florida. With just in August, and that was a pretty big hall. And of course, these days you never fill a big hall. You just don't get that. The kinds of audiences that we used to, you have a concert somewhere and there'd be 500 people would come to it. Those days are over. People just don't go to stuff anymore. But so you're going to get maybe 50 people or 100 if you're lucky. And you get into a big hall like that, and they all sit in the back, and so you don't feel as much of a rapport with them as you would if they would sit closer. But it is nice to be able to let the voice out and feel how it's responding to the room. It was they had a nice acoustic there and a big, beautiful piano. So there's the pleasure of performing with in that environment, and having the reverberation of the room and all of that. But when you're doing TV recording, the acoustics are deliberately kept out of it so that you can reverb it artificially, in the studio. So you're recording dry. It's going to be pretty dry in there, so you're not really enjoying the size of a concert hall anyway. Right. But yeah, that's something that bothers me. Is every time I do a live recital somewhere, people all sit in the back. It's like they, want to be able to leave real quick if they don't like it or something.
I don't know about that.
I don't know why. But I don't do that. If I go to a concert, I sit up close because I know what it feels like to be on stage and have everybody sit in the back.
I'm a middle guy. That's because I've been to too many electronic concerts. Talking about electronic concerts, Darth Presley, what did you think of today's performance? Did we meet with your satisfaction?
Well, of course, Andy does a great job, and it's one of the nice things about these 15-minute Fame 60x60s is you get a really great variety in a short amount of time. I'm a big fan of variety, so it was a fun show.
Darth is a longtime composer for Vox Novus. He's like one of the original submitters for 60 by 60. Yeah, it's great to have you part of the 15 minutes of fame stuff too. What was I gonna say? Yeah, the other thing I don't know that I like about this format, like, so we used to do a lot of live chamber concerts, and the advantage is being able to include sort of the composers that listen to their works that are performed. When we were doing the chamber concerts, we did archival recordings, but it's different. It's different than having a more studio sort of polished piece. Did everybody like the quality of the video?
Yeah,
and the audio?
Yeah, I thought it was great. And, I think Sarah had mentioned how hard it is to get your music performed. And Andy mentioned like the days of 500 people showing up for a concert are kind of done. That's one of the nice things about these live streams is that people can watch this from all over the world. And, we've all been to concerts where like 10 people have been in the audience. But, we can come back to this video every year and kind of see the numbers go up, and like we can get that audience of 500. It might take a year or two to get that many hits on it, but, it'll creep up to it.
I think it's so true, and it's a great way to, I know a lot of people they just want to hear something, and it's great if it's get performed at like Carnegie Hall. It's like awesome, but when you just want to hear how someone their piece and how it sounds, or just a little bit about it, like just. It's a great way to get it out there, which is, this format's been pretty fun. We'll see how it goes. Still, the whole TV show thing is a new animal for me. So we'll get there.
Well, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've been on TV now numerous times. I'm feeling like I'm a TV star or something.
That's right. We've been featuring Andy a couple times this past. I feel like you've been on 3 shows this past year. Is that not including this one?
I think so, because 3 times not including this one. I think this is the fourth time.
Yeah. It's funny. We're we're hoping to go weekly. That's my goal for the next next few months. Sarah, Kirsten, Darth, do you have other things to say or ask? Or
I was just going to agree with Darth that it is definitely a different audience nowadays when it comes to how people consume music, that they sort of want to watch it on their phone or watch it in between things, or go to the gym and watch, I don't know when people are watching, but getting a live audience. I've had the same experience that Andy has. You put a lot of work into a performance, and then you get a few people sitting in the back rows, and it's really dispiriting. Whereas a live performance that actually goes on TV and it's there on YouTube for the rest of whenever is fantastic, because it captured something and it's there for people to enjoy for many years to come. So I definitely think you should keep going with it, Rob. Every week would be fantastic, and the more we can get up there, the better. So well done for everything you're doing. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
There still is no replacement, though, for the effect of the instrument itself vibrating the air, which vibrates the eardrum, which goes directly into a person's brain. The effect of acoustic performance, with the audience in the room with the person who's making the sound, is different than the sound coming through. There is no microphone and there is no speaker. that can actually successfully duplicate the sound. It's always a like a shadow. It's like a shadow of the actual thing is what you're hearing. So I hope that live performances don't go away entirely. I think that they're very important. I stress it. All my students in my music appreciation class are required to go to live concerts because it's different, to actually be be in contact with the sound. This really was brought to home for me recently. I went to it was one of these college music society conferences where people give presentations, and there was this violinist who was giving a presentation on a certain composer whose name escapes me, who wrote a lot of virtuosic violin music, and he was giving this. He had some pieces that he was showing that he had played with an orchestra, and so he had them projected on. He had a movie, a video clip of him performing with the orchestra, and they had this really great sound system, with this huge high quality speakers and everything. The sound was as good as you could possibly make. It was a studio produced recording, and so they played that, but then there were other passages that he played live, and it really came to me that the sound of his finger on the string and his bow being drawn across it, and the reverberations within the body of the instrument that have to come through the F holes and vibrate the air, which then vibrates my eardrum, that is not replaceable. And when you hear it through any little speaker on your phone or computer screen or whatever, it's always just a shadow of the original, no matter how high quality.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a big believer of live performances. I love the electronic medium too. I was talking with Darth Presley. We were talking about 60 by 60. So those were all recorded compositions. But even that, it's sort of a different way of handling the sound. Instead of trying to imitate something that's live or something that's supposed to be live or played instrumental, as an electronic composer, you're making fixed media, right? It's like the artwork behind me. It's like static, and even then, I feel like it's better to hear it in a live performance. All the best 60 by 60s were always with dance or in front of a giant large clock and so forth, and being like in that room, to hear it. Yeah. It's just, yeah. Wow.
But you can't beat the accessibility, so
Exactly.
there are trade-offs.
That's right. Yeah. So encouraging everybody, if you hear this, when you see a concert live, check it out. You'll thank yourself. and more new music, right? That's the other thing too. Support your local composers. But it sounds like, Sarah, you've got like a lively environment where you are. That's good.
Yeah, very lively. We've got a really good charity that brings like music and performance to small villages as well. That comes round for a season, and that's always jam packed. It's always like really full. So that's really good. There's always concerts going on. There's festivals a lot of weekends, so it's a really kind of happening music scene down here. So, which I didn't realize before I moved. So it's just a huge bonus now that I'm here.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Do you guys know where in Oxford you'll be doing the performance? What venue? Is that going to be big or small?
It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it'll be a city center venue. Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Amazing.
two options, and we're trying to figure out where we'll get the biggest crowd, because I want to
Yeah.
make sure people come here, Andy. So,
Absolutely. Well, please keep me posted, because I will definitely come up to hear that live.
okay.
Bring an
Thank you, Sarah.
entourage.
Appreciate that.
I will. Don't you worry. I'll bring all the fans.
And you know what? I should say that to all the people listening now and all our future listeners and so forth. So we started working. David Wilson was here before, but we started working with Andy through Composer's Voice when it was a concert series. Let's just say a long time ago. When we did 15 Minutes of Fame, Andy came out to New York and performed on our concert series. And then Andy took 15 Minutes of Fame and performed that in a whole bunch of places, actually. And so then we started working together on this composer and accompaniment thing. Do we start that? I feel like we started that right before COVID, or was it during COVID?
Yeah, no, I think it came up as a result of COVID.
Yeah, maybe.
So it was, 2020, I think, was when we started with that.
And the idea was to sort of reinvent or, bring the whole idea of an art song into the electronic medium and do more with that and try to create a series of collaborative concerts. And, we've been calling for some pieces. How many calls did we do for that, Andy? I feel like we've done two or three of them, right?
Yeah, I think there were three that were, calls that went out, not 15 Minutes of Fame, but, for longer pieces.
Right. So we've been kind of rolling that into this new sort of, what do we call it now? Like a touring concert series?
Okay.
Sure.
I don't know what to call it. But yeah, we came up with this recital. We have this recital. We're kind of jobbing it around is what we're doing.
Yeah. We're kind of composers, like, they send a piece and Andy sings it and comes to their neck of the woods to sing it for them.
When we trade pieces out, so something that we've done quite a bit comes out, we do some and substitute something new for it. So it's more, the program itself is morphing as we go along here.
No. Yeah. So I don't know if I said that very clearly, but yeah, we're still doing that. So Andy's we've got a couple of things working on it, but hopefully Andy's next stop will be in England.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anybody who's interested, type, give Andy and I a shoot via email or what, private messages. Slide into our DMs.
Yeah, I'm real cheap. I don't
say that.
I don't need to make a lot of money. In fact, I don't even need to make any money. I just need to not lose money. Is sort of the basic idea behind bringing me places. I travel. I'm available to go places, and I don't have a big old concert fee that makes it prohibitive to have me come. Actually, it's just as long as I don't lose money, I'm happy to come.
New music is easy. Maybe if we're great. Well, thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate you being part of this little watch party.
Thanks for having us.
And
Yeah,
and
thank you for organizing.
thank you for the composers for submitting to 15 Minutes of Fame. It's just been it's been a wild ride. We just completed our 15-year anniversary. We're going to take a little break from calls and things like that, but you know, we'll get started soon enough, I'm sure.
Nice to meet you folks I haven't met yet. I hadn't met before, Darth and Sarah.
Nice to meet you too, and hopefully meet you in person in Oxford.
I hope so.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Kirsten.
Thank you,
Thank
Andy.
you.